In this video, I'm going to tell you how to create your file to start with if you have a tail size poem for our bus lines project. So I've got a standard production spec sheet here. It's right from the company that actually prints and produces these designs and gets them on the bus. And we can see here where it sits on the bus in that tail or back side. And it's important to look at the artwork requirements. So you must have high resolution images in CMYK. So CMYK is the color of ink and paint. So if your project is something that's going to be printed, it's got to be CMYK. So we can certainly use vector graphics, and I'll make sure everybody knows to make sure they're working in CMYK and Illustrator. So that's our points and lines. If you do use a pixel-based or bitmap image, the stuff we use for Photoshop, it's okay, but you gotta make sure it's big enough to still be 300 pixels per inch at the size it's gonna be printed. So we can see that this graphic is gonna end up 19 inches by 84. It's a very weird size and a very weird aspect ratio. Notice though it tells us to design at a quarter scale. That is completely common for outdoor advertising or outdoor graphics. This could be any large scale poster, absolutely billboards, the traditional printed vinyl ones, and digital ones. They're all designed at 1/4 scale, and then the company just knows to publish them, so print or put them up on digital boards at 4 times the size they're submitted. So they've already kind of done the math for us, so we just have to follow these guidelines. And notice that we've got a 0.5 inch bleed here. So this is going to be our in InDesign our page size. Safety zone, we'll have to figure this out because this is where our margins are. And then our bleed is only on the left and right side. So here it says 0.5 per side, and even I thought, oh, that means on all sides. But if we look at this graphic here, it shows us that the bleed is only on the left and right sides. It's not on top and bottom. So this wording is a little imperfect, but the picture tells us for sure in both cases that our bleed is only on the sides. And that's to make sure they've got a little leeway for putting it in the actual physical location. Okay, so I'm going to go over to InDesign, create new, and I'm going to hit the print button just to make sure that it's giving me a CMYK file. So my width is 22 inches, the height is 4.75. I'm going to uncheck facing pages. Even though you may think, well, it's one page, does it matter? If you duplicate that page in the process of working on your ideas, so that you have maybe like 3 ideas in one document, when you duplicate those pages and don't uncheck this box, they're going to be attached to each other in weird ways, and it's bad news. So that's why anytime something is not actually facing pages, uncheck this box. All right, moving on to margins, we'll have to figure these out. So if I bring down that spec sheet again, I can see that the difference between the final file and the safety zone is 1/2 inch. So 4.75 minus 4.25 is 0.5. So that tells me that on the height, there's 1/2 inch that's dedicated to these safety zones, and that 1/2 inch is split evenly between the top and the bottom. So half of 1/2 inch is 1/4 inch. So I can come over to margins. I'm going to unclick this chain. I'm going to unclick this chain link so I can enter each number separately. So I'm going to make the top and bottom 1/4 inch. So there's our extra 1/2 inch. And left and right, so 22 minus 20.5 is 1.5. And half of 1.5 is 3/4. So I can go to my sides, and we'll give this a 0.75 inch safety zone. And like I missed it. All right. So to sum up, width 22 inches, height 4.75, not facing pages. And our margins on top and bottom are 1/4 inch, 0.25, and on left and right they're 0.75. Now all we have to do is add the bleed. So in my bleed section, I'm going to undo this chain link because we noticed that the top and bottom didn't have any bleed, and the left and right had a 1/2 inch. All right, let's click create. And there's our file. So it looks a little weird, but it's for a very weird application. So keep in mind that these purple and pink lines, those represent your margins or your safe zone. So all of the poem for sure should definitely be safely inside those lines. Even your logos and fine print should be inside those lines. If you have graphics that are meant to go off the edge of the design or a background image or color, that should absolutely go out to your bleed and off the edge here. So that's how you set up the tail or back of the bus graphics for our bus lines project.